Pratay,
हाँ मैम.
can you please start this event on NDA Live portal?
Yes ma'am. Just a minute. Ma'am, I have started the event.
Okay. So can we start? Mudassir sir, can we start? Pratay, can we start?
Yes ma'am.
50 are there.
Yes ma'am. 57 as of now.
Okay. Mudassir sir, I think you are not audible to me. So we are starting, okay? Mudassir sir, you're not audible.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Now you're audible.
Okay.
Okay, good evening to one and all present over here. I, Shifa Mohammed, lecturer in Information Technology, Government Polytechnic Nagpur. We are having today seminar on Introduction to Financial Independence. We are conducting it on National Digital Library of India portal. Well, Government of India has built a National Digital Library of India as a national knowledge and cultural assets. Around 4.5 crores of items are available here. And it is designed to hold any language and provide interface for 10 most widely used Indian languages. It is built to provide support for all academic levels, including researchers and lifelong learners. So it is very great opportunity for us that Government Polytechnic Nagpur has its own club in NDLI, and we are a part of it, and it is formed on 9th April 2021. And we have successfully registered around 1,500 members. So it's a great privilege for me to introduce today's speaker for Introduction to Financial Independence, Syed Mudassir Ali. Sir is a scientist at Tata Consultancy Services at Bangalore, India. Sir has done his BE from BITS Pilani in Mechanical Engineering and MTech from IIT Bombay in Aerospace Engineering. Some skills and proficiencies of Sir are MATLAB and Stimling, machine learning, public speaking, graphics designing, and scientific Pythons. So I request you, sir, to please proceed.
Yeah, I'll share my screen and then I'll start.
Okay, sir.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Mudassir Ali. I'm a researcher at Tata Consultancy Limited. So today I'm going to give a lecture on Introduction to Financial Freedom. First of all, who am I? I'm from Nagpur, Maharashtra, like most of you. I've done my mechanical engineering graduate from BITS Pilani. I'm an aerospace engineering postgraduate from IIT Bombay. I'm currently working as a researcher at TCS Innovation Labs in Bangalore division. And I'm also a part-time graphic designer, public speaker, and a teacher. So throughout the slides, you are going to see a lot of things which I myself have designed. So I'm also a graphic designer, a public speaker, and a teacher. So why I'm teaching you about financial independence? You can see in my profile that I'm a mechanical engineer, aerospace engineer. For me, teaching an engineering topic would have been a lot more easier. I want to teach about financial independence because I feel the moment I entered corporate world, I feel there was a need to be financially independent, to have a constant stream of income. And I think that if students learn this at a very early age, they will be able to find a clear path for themselves in the coming years. In this lecture, I will be using two important references. First, I'll be talking about one book about Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki and Financial Freedom by Grant Sebastian. So after this lecture, I will recommend all of you to go back and read these books because a lot of this lecture will be based around these two books. So first start with Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. In this story, Robert is talking about two dads. First, a poor dad, which was his own biological dad. He was a scholar He had 2 degrees like me, but he was working in a corporate. And at the end of his lifetime, he has nothing in his bank account. He has nothing to show as an inheritance for his children. On the other hand, there was a different person who was dad of his friend, who he is calling a rich dad. And he was not even a high school graduate, but still he was a multimillionaire, and he was able to earn a lot more money and leave behind a lot of wealth for his children in coming years. So in this book, Robert Kiyosaki compared two type of approach of a poor person and a rich person, and he tells us how to think like a rich to be rich. The very first lesson about being rich is to learn that rich don't work for money. Money work for them. I've picked out some of the very important quotes from these books. Like the poor, they work hard for little money, clinging to the illusion of job, security, 3-week vacation, and a skimpy pension. People's lives are forever controlled by two emotions, fear and greed. What happens is that when you start earning, the very first thought that comes to your mind is that I will buy a transport for myself, like a bike. And then you acquire a bike. It takes you another 2-3 years to pay back the EMI for that bike. And then you thought, by the time you are done with 3 years, now you have realized that you want to buy a car. And it takes you another 10 years to pay back the EMI of car. And when you are done with car, you thought about buying a home. And it takes you another 30 years to pay the loan for that home. And you are stuck in this cycle of continuously buying new things, paying for that, and at the end of the day, there is zero amount in your bank balance. There is nothing left for your children when you are gone. So this is the approach most poor people follow. There is a mentality difference between a poor person and a rich person. A poor person thinks life happened to me, and a rich person thinks I create my life. So poor person enters into a cycle. He constantly get greedy. He became fearful. He starts spending more and more and more and more. And at the end of the day, he has nothing to left. On the other hand, rich person say that I will create my own life. I'm not going to fall into a cycle, and I am going to follow my own dreams. And I'm going to break out of this cycle, and I'm going to create a wealth for my family. So before starting, we should understand these two thought processes. One is life happens to me, and one, I create my own life. And you should think towards creating your own life rather than following others like a shepherd. Why teach financial literacy? There is this important quote in the book. It's not how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. So not only making money is important, keeping the money is very equally important, because that is what you leave behind. So I thought, because this is a lecture on financial freedom, it's important to talk about incomes and balance sheet, because this is how you learn about your finances. So in the right hand side, you can see an income and balance sheet for a poor person. The poor person start a job, he earns some salary. For example, if a person is in an IT job, he will earn initially a salary of 20,000-30,000. And then that entire salary goes into liabilities. So what are liabilities? Liabilities are debt. In this case, it could be mortgage, which is like a home loan you have taken. You have to pay every month certain amount. It could be car loan. It could be credit card debt. It could be student loans. And after cutting your salary almost to the half, paying out liabilities, then you go on to give out your expenses in the form of taxes, rent, food. And at the end of the day, there is nothing left in your asset column, which speaks about your bank balance. On the other hand, when you talk about rich people don't even go to a job, right? What they do, they build their assets. So here we are talking about following assets: real estate, stocks, bond, notes, intellectual property. Let me spend some time in it so that you will be having a better understanding in how these assets are contributing to the income. First of all, real estate. Real estate is something which you is a property which you acquire and then you lease out it, then you lease it out or you give it out for rent. So whenever you're leasing it out or giving it out for rent, you are getting some money every month in your account. That is one form of income. The second is stocks. So what happens is that there are some big companies like TCS, Infosys, Tata Motors. They divide their company into small portions. These small portions are known as stocks. So what you and me, a common consumer, can do is buy a stock. So if you have a stock, the value of the stock can appreciate after a certain time. Second, because you own a portion of that company, you are liable to the profits which the company are making. So the company will pay you some dividend on that profit. So that is the second way of earning money using stocks. The third way is bonds. The concept of bonds is a little more complex. So bonds, for example, if you are into furniture business and suddenly a person come to you and he says that I want to order 1,000 chairs. Now you are very new to the business. The person says I will only pay you the amount for the 1,000 chairs only after the delivery. Now you are very new to the business and you don't even have money to acquire the raw material to make all those 1,000 chairs. So what you do, you go to a person who has money and you ask them that please lend me money and I will give you back the money once I have made the delivery of the chair. And during the time in which the money is not paid, you give them some interest. So this is the concept of bond. You issue a bond and you are liable to pay back the principal of the bond after a certain time, and in between you have to give them some interest. For example, currently Government of India has issued a sovereign gold bond. The value of each bond is 50,000 rupees. And the time interval is 5 years. So after 5 years, whatever will be the gold of price, the government will be paying me back. So if the gold of price is 55,000, the government will be paying me back 55,000. And during this 5 year, for each year, the government will be paying me 4% on the interest. So this is another way of earning money. Notes are very similar to bond, only the time interval is smaller compared to bond and the interest rate is also smaller. Intellectual property. So intellectual property is something like is your own asset which you create. For example, you create a YouTube video and someone else want to use your content from your YouTube video, or you have created a music album and someone else wants to use some portion of your music album. So that person has to pay you certain amount. That will also act like a royalty for you. These are the ways rich people create all these assets in the form of real estate, stocks, bonds, note, intellectual property, which keep them paying back in their income stream. So even if they don't go on a regular job, they are still constantly making income from all these assets which they have created. So creating assets lead to an increase in income, and creating liabilities lead to an increase in expense. What poor people do, they invest more on liabilities. What rich people do, they invest more on asset. So if you want to be rich, you should think more towards asset building. Now, before moving forward, let me tell you about the 4 different ways in which our average human being earn money. So you could either be an employed, like me, I'm an employee of Tata Consultancy Services. I'm working as a researcher. So what I do for Tata, I give them my time and effort. I work every week, 5 days a week from 9 to 5. And for that, Tata pay me certain amount.
That's not something I can calculate.
And for that, Tata pay me certain amount. The moment I stop working, they will stop paying me back. So I'm exchanging time and effort for income. On the other hand, there could be something known as self-employed. So self-employed are the people who have small businesses, like a chai stall or a restaurant or a tailor. So these people work on their own terms, but still they have to trade their effort and time for money. For example, if a person who is a tailor, the moment he stop snipping and stitching, he will lose all his clients and all his money. So he has to still put in his effort to create income. The third and even more important category is big businesses like Tata's, Ambani's, and Birla's. What they do, they don't have to put effort or time to create income. They have to use resources like us humans to create income. Like I'm working for Tata from 9 to 5. There is another person who's working from 9 to 5, and there are like 4 lakh different employees working from there. And we are generating income for them. So this is how big businesses make money. And the last and most important category is investors. Investors make money using money. So like I said, they buy real estate, bonds, stocks. They invest on such these assets in return pay back them their money. So most of us right now are in either of the two category, employed or self-employed. Can I ask if anyone is doing a part-time job other than the college? Or all of us are only students? There's nothing shameful about it because I used to do the same. I was a graphic designer when I was working in when I was studying. Is there anyone who's doing a job?
I don't think so, sir. Most of us are students only.
Okay. No problem. But yeah, I mean, I used to do that. I was a part-time graphic designer when I was in college, and I used to get a certain amount of money for every design I create. Some people used to pay me 5,000, some 10,000. Sometimes it was a portfolio of work, and I used to get 15, 20,000. So I used to do that to support my education, and also I used to get some stipend from the college. So, but currently we are in the either in the employed or self-employed state, and we have to move towards the business or the investor phase. In school or colleges, we are taught how to be an employee or self-employed. We are never taught how to run a business or be an investor. Because this system came to India because when Britishers come to India, they needed people to do clerk jobs. And the entire education system is designed in such a way that when you pass out, you can either be an employee or someone working in a similar profile. You can never be a businessman. To be a businessman, you have to think outside the box. You have to create your own life, right? So this is the basic quadrant. Employees and self-employees make an active income because they have to put their own effort and time in creating money. But businesses and investors, they do a passive income because they use others' effort to create money from them. That is why the arrow is going from employees, self-employed to business and then investors. So we are putting effort to make make money for the big businessmen. For example, if Tata is paying me 1 lakh per month, that means that I am making a 10 lakh worth of business for Tata. So that is how much big a difference is that. How much my effort the company is using to make its own profits. So we have already discussed about income statement and balance sheet. There are 3 different categories of people. One is who comes in poor category. These are the people who have a job, an income, salary, and they use their entire income to pay rent, food. For example, like Dihadi, a person is earning 150 or 200 rupees per day. So he will use that entire money to pay for food or rent or accommodation or clothing. On the other hand, there is a middle class person like you and me and most of us who have a job from a salary, but the entire salary goes into paying liabilities like mortgage, home loan, car loan, credit card bills, school loans. And after that, after all the liabilities are paid, then we pay our expenses in the form of food, travel bills, rent, like that. And then comes the rich people. So you will not see an income arrow in terms of job when we talk about rich people. Rich people make money from their asset. So their assets, which are in the form of real estate, stocks, bond, notes, intellectual property, they are giving them money in the form of rental income, dividend, interest, loyalties. So we should think about how to divert our income from liabilities to assets and then make our assets earn income for us. That is the focus we should think about. This is the third most important lesson which I learned from this book, Rich Dad and Poor Dad, that mind your own business. A rich man focuses on their asset column while everyone else focus on their income statement. Like I said, the rich man try to make his assets as big as possible. On the other hand, a poor man thinks about liabilities. So rich man only think about asset and he put money in the asset as much as he can, and that asset then lead to an appreciation of his income. There's also one more important statement. Each dollar in my asset was a great employee, making more employees to buy the boss a new Porsche. What does that mean? That the author is saying that he was putting money in he was putting money in his asset, and each dollar in his asset was in turn making more money for him. So each dollar in his asset was like an employee which was working for him to become more and more rich. I've already talked about tangible assets like rentals, bonds, equities. Likewise, there are intangible assets as well. For example, knowledge, trademarks, patents, goodwill, brands. So if I ask you, if you want to, hello, is someone saying something?
No, sir, you can continue.
Okay, so like there are tangible assets, uh, which I have covered in the last slides, like like real estate, stocks, bond, notes, intellectual property. Likewise, there can be intangible assets like brands, goodwill, patents, trademarks, knowledge. So, what is a brand? Uh, if I ask you, if do you want to buy a shoes of Puma or Puma, you will choose Puma over Puma, right? And if I ask you to buy shoes for Adidas or Adidas, you will choose Adidas. And why is that? Because Puma and Adidas have built a brand for themselves, and you are paying an access amount to get this brand value. So whenever you build a brand for yourself, that also act like an income stream for you. Second is knowledge. I am an IIT BITS graduate, and I have a good knowledge of a lot of areas. And now I'm using this knowledge to deliver this lecture, and for this lecture, I'm gaining some money. So this knowledge which I have acquired over time is acting like an asset for me, which I'm using to make money. So as a student, I will encourage you to work on your assets. Whatever area you are good in, try to get more skill sets in that area. If you are good at painting, I will strongly encourage you to do a painting course and get better at that, and then start selling your paintings to make more income. If you are good at photography, I will encourage you to do a photography course and then start clicking photographs and find out a way to sell your photographs and earn some income. So you can use your knowledge, you can use your skill sets to earn income, and this knowledge act as intangible assets. Similarly, there could be trademarks. For example, Coca-Cola or any big company, you will see a TM symbol next to that. That signifies that that logo is trademarked. So whenever a company use a trademark logo, it has to pay some amount to that company. In this case, they have to pay the amount to the Coca-Cola company. Another thing is patents. So like Shifa ma'am told you, I am a researcher as well. So I have a portfolio of patents. I have 4 or 5 patents. And whenever anyone uses my patent or my technology which I have built, they have to pay some money to me. So in this way, I have created an asset in the form of patent, and this patent is generating income for me. The fifth one is a goodwill. So what is a goodwill? This is also a tougher concept. Goodwill happens when a bigger company acquire a smaller company at a premium rate. So what is this premium rate? So if a smaller company has good clientele and they have a good reputation, a good brand, so they pay this premium amount for that brand clientele, which is called as a goodwill. For example, recently Tata bought Air India and it bought it at a very premium price. But Air India already had a lot of loyal customers. Air India itself was a good name. To acquire this asset, the Tata has to pay an extra amount, which is known as goodwill. So in this way, also the Tata has acquired intangible assets of Air India, which will be generating income for Tata later. So in this way, you can find out what are your assets and think about making your assets better and better each and every day, and how can you generate income from your assets. Now, this is the most important concept. Like I said, I am an engineer, I'm not a finance person, and I'm good at mathematics. So let me teach you some mathematics. First and most important concept is doubling. So you all know basic mathematics. 2 cross 2 is 4. 4 cross 2 is 8. 8 cross 2 is 16. What is 4? It is 2 to the power 2. What is 8? It is 2 to the power 3. What is 16? It is 2 to the power 4. What happens till I reach the 10th power? The value is 1024. So if you start with 1 rupees and you start doubling it, after the 10th cycle of doubling, you will reach an amount of 1024. And after 20th cycle of doubling, you will reach an amount of 1,048,576. So this is the power of doubling. So if you one day decide that today I have 1 rupees, after 1 year I want to make 2 rupees, after 2 years I want to make 4 rupees, after 3 years I want to make 8 rupees, and you go on, after 21 years you will be having 1,000,000 rupees. So that's how the power of doubling works. So this is a 100% appreciation of your value. You went from 1 to 2 directly. But it is infeasible. No one can do that. You cannot just double your income even in a 1 year time. What we can realistically do is increase your income by just 1%, right? So what can an increase by 1% do? If you decide that you want to increase your income by 1% every week, and if you do that throughout the year, there are 52 weeks in 1 year, that is 1.01. So here it was 2 is 1 plus 1, and because we are only considering 1% of that, it is 1.01. So it is 1.01 to the power 52, which is 1.667. So your money will be 1.66 times your original amount. If you started with 100 rupees, you will be having 167 rupees. If you decide that I will increase my income by 1% every day, and you do that for 365 days, after the end of 1 year, you will be having an income 37.78 times your original value. So if you started with 100 rupees, you will be having 3,778 rupees. To put this in the context of investment stocks, let me share a very famous example of Infosys. So like I said, big companies like Tata, Infosys, Tata Motors, they release something known as stocks. They divide the companies into small portions known as shares, and they release that to the public. So the public can buy these shares, right? For example, a person bought 100 shares of Infosys in the year 1994. What happened in the year 1994? There was a 1:1 bonus. So whenever a bonus happened, the company give you 1 share for each share you already have. So and whenever a split happens, the company divide your original share into 2 portions. So if you have 100 shares, it will be 200 shares. So let's do a calculation here. If a person had 100 shares in 1994, after 1994 he will be having 1:1, that is 200 shares. After 1997, uh, again twice of that, that is 400. Again twice of that, 800. Again twice of that, 1600. Now it's 4 times, that is 6400. And if you keep on doing that, by the end of 2021, a person who bought 100 shares of TCS will be Infosys will be having 1,02,400 shares of Infosys. At that time, each share of Infosys was of 95 rupees. 95 into 100, the person invested only 9,500 rupees. But today, the value of his asset is 15 crore 37 lakh 2,400. And that all happened due to the power of compounding. That is how powerful the concept of compounding is. And also, the person will receive a 22 lakh every year. So the company like Infosys give 22 rupees dividend for every share you own. So if the person has 1 lakh share, he will be getting 22 lakh as a dividend. So along with the appreciation of your share value from 9,500 to 15 crore, you are also getting 22 lakh as a dividend every year. That is how powerful the entire concept of compounding is. And that's what I want you to learn. It's not important that you should measure how much you are growing. If you grow by at least 1% every day, it is also enough. Whatever you're doing in life, think about how much I'm growing. And is there any positive change? And if you keep on making this positive change, eventually you will reach to such a huge amount that you will not even realize is that even possible. So this is a true story. A person actually bought a share, 100 shares of Infosys, and he is a crorepati now. So this is actually possible. Now let's talk about. Do anyone of you have any doubts right now? Because the last concept was a bit advanced. Should I move ahead? Maybe you can ask the doubts later.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, I've already talked about balance sheet. There is one more important term in the balance sheet that is known as taxes. For example, I'm working for, if any of you graduate tomorrow, you will get a job in an IT company. I'm assuming most of you are IT graduates. So you will be making an income of, for example, 50,000 per month. It will be written in your income slip 50,000 per month. But in hand, you will be getting only 40,000 because 10,000 will be deducted before even reaching your hand. That 10,000 will go as a taxes to government. And then 40,000 you will spend on to give back to the bank in the form of the loans which you have taken in purchasing your bike or car or home. So whenever you work for a company, you work for a company in the form of salary. You work for government when you give taxes to the government, and you work for bank when you give mortgage to the bank. On the other hand, if you look at a businessman, when a businessman do some activity like he's going out on a trip or he's buying up a car, he will put everything in the company expenses. And whatever tax being put on him is on his profits. So if his expenses go up, his profits go down, and he have to pay lesser tax. So a businessman earn money, pay tax, and then give his expense. A common man like a salary person, we earn money, we give taxes to the government, and then we have some money for our expenses. A businessman, on the other hand, he earn money, he spend that entire money in something, a car or a big bungalow or anything, and only after that he pay taxes. So the tax paid by a businessman is much less when compared to a employed person. So whenever you start earning money, you should know where your money is going, because knowing where your money is going will help you save a lot of money. So as soon as you start earning, uh, go through all the tax documents, see in which tax slabs you are lying, and accordingly plan out your expenses so that you are not paying a lot more taxes to the government. Now, there are many obstacles come when we think about breaking this cycle of an employed person and thinking about a side business and earning more money. For example, there could be a fear that I've given you an example of Infosys, but there could be many companies other than Infosys which have lost its value. So a person will think that if I invest in any company, there's a possibility that I may lose money. So that there is some fear. There is always some fear, and there is always some risk. But you have to go par that risk to earn more money. There's always a cynicism that what if I fail? Because my father has been doing the same thing, my brother has been doing the same thing. So you have always this self doubt. And can I go out of this system and do something new? There is always this self doubt and cynicism that you have to break. The third thing is laziness. Some people think that, okay, this term I have to give an exam, I will start working next term. Let me tell you, there is never a good time to start. If you want to start today, start it right now. You cannot start a few days from now, or month from now. If you want to start it right now. This laziness costs a lot to the people because you keep delaying it, and at the end of the day, you are at a position where you can do nothing. So stop delaying. If you want to start something new, if you want to do something exciting, go ahead and do it. There is never a good time to start a thing. Every time is a good time. Some people have developed bad habits. They have, whenever they get some money, they spend on things that are not necessary. Like a single man will buy 3 different cars, a Maruti, an Audi, and he's paying loan for each of them. If he has to go for 8 kilometers and his needs are very limited, there is no need to buy 3 different cars. You can put that money into building an asset, and that asset will generate more income for you. That could be required in any rainy weather. And the fourth thing is arrogance. People are not eager to learn these things. Many of you, this has been a very new concept. I also learned it after graduating from college. I wish I was taught these things while I was in college. This is a very beautiful line which was in the book. But it's the thing they don't know, and don't know they don't know, that makes them lose money. So with entering into this field without even knowing about taxes, about stocks, about bonds, about how to earn more assets, just jumping into it, investing in random companies will not earn you money. You have to develop that aptitude. You have to gain that knowledge and use that knowledge to earn more money for you. So don't be arrogant. Pick a book, start learning, and slowly you will develop that behavior of thinking outside the box. Now, there are 7 levels of financial freedom. First is clarity. You should know at what position you are. If you have a 10 rupees note in your pocket and that's all, you should know that there is nothing to be ashamed of that. That's the clarity you have about yourself. The second stage of financial freedom is self-sufficiency. You are making enough money to cover your own needs. For example, I used to do graphic designing in college, and I used to make use of that money to pay for my other things like food or restaurant or clothing. You can also do that. The third thing is a breathing room. Third level of financial freedom is breathing room. But you escape living from pay to. So if you are earning 100 rupees and your requirement is 80 rupees, you get a 20 rupees premium. That is a breathing room. You have some money left out even after paying out all of your expenses. Then comes stability. You have earned enough money and you have paid all your debt in the form of credit card debt and repayment, and you have enough money to live for 6 more months. That is known as stability. After stability comes flexibility. You have enough money that can last for the next 2 years without even you working, even without even there is any need for you to work. That is known as flexibility. And after flexibility comes financial freedom. And this is all what we are all striving for. When you can live off your income, which are generated for you, and there is no option, and work for you is optional. Like you have created enough assets, and these assets are making income for you over and over again. There is no need for you to go to the job. Like I said, that rich people don't do job; they just build assets, and those assets act as an income stream for them. So this is all what we are striving for. We are all striving for financial freedom. And after financial freedom comes abundant wealth. So these are the big people like Elon Musk. These people don't even think about money anymore. They have so much money that they are now thinking about how to dispense this money, how to uplift the society using this money. These are the 7 stages of financial freedom. I know most of us are still at the clarity of self-sufficiency stage, but if you plan out uh, a framework to work towards financial freedom, you can go from clarity, self-sufficiency, breathing room, stability, flexibility, financial independence, and then abundant wealth. So it is possible, it is not impossible, and we all can do that. There is this framework of financial freedom which was given by Stuff it's a 3 process plan framework. First, you have to plan and budget. Then you have to execute that plan and measure and improve. There are 6 goals in planning where you define a goal and a lifestyle. And then you think how much money is needed to support that lifestyle. And then you understand your position, how much I have in my pockets. And then you understand your current path and risk. So, what is the risk? For example, in my family, there are 4 people out of 5 who are earning money. So even if I stop earning money today and I invest in some other thing, it's not a problem. But there are other people who have who are the only person who's working in their family, and if they stop earning, there is a lot of risk. So in my case, the risk is very less. In your case, the risk is be too high. So based on your risk, you have to plan out your path. Determine immediate change to be made. See what all the things that you can cut and save money so that you can invest in building your assets. And develop a budget to keep your track. The second framework is to execute your plan. Try to find alternate streams which are known as pipelines of earning money. For example, right now also I'm an employee for TCS. Along with that, I'm a graphic designer. I got a good sum of money every month from my graphic designing work. Then also, I also deliver such lectures and I get money for that. So these are alternate earning streams for me. So you should also find out such earning streams so that you can make an additional income which can act in building your asset. Sell non-essential assets. So there are people who have, like I said, they buy 3, 4 different cars and they don't need it. So there is need to eliminate such non-essential assets, eliminate debt, so that all of your income is going towards build, all of your salary or all of your income stream is going towards building your assets. Spend wisely, right? So if you can if you can have a good healthy dinner at home, there is no need to go to a restaurant and spend exorbitant amount of money. You should think and budget out it. Like I'm going to restaurant once in a week or once in a month, but there is no need to go it every day because that's how you are going to save your money. Increase your saving, increase investment and cash producing assets, like I said. And the third and most important thing is measure and improve. Measurement is very important in life. You cannot shoot a target unless you see it. So you have to measure your monthly progress, analyze your performance, how much I'm adding each month. Am I increasing by 1%, half a percent, 2%? It is important that you know that, because then only you will be motivated enough to grow day by day, week by week, month after month, and make necessary changes to keep yourself on track. So these are the framework which you can use to be financially independent. So this was my lecture on financial independence. If you have any doubt regarding the lecture, please ask me right now. I will stop sharing my screen. You can ask your doubts.
So wonderful session conducted by you, sir. Being financially independent is an important goal for people of all backgrounds, whether they are employees or students. And financial awareness and money management skills are need of the hour actually. And students have surely taken a lot from your session. Now session is open for question and answer. You can ask questions to sir.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Pratyay, yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask, like at our age, I'm currently 19. How should we start accumulating assets from this age itself? Like, where should we begin?
Yeah. So, like I said, you are at an age where you cannot build physical assets, like you cannot buy a house, cannot buy a stocks, but you can work on your non-tangible assets, like gaining knowledge, gaining skills. So if you are good at a particular thing, if you are good at photography, like I said, you can do a photography course, and that will act as an asset for you, because that will help you become a better photographer, which you can sell your photograph to make more money. Like for me, knowledge is an asset. I continuously keep reading, and I use that knowledge to deliver such lectures, and then you people pay me money. So likewise, for me, knowledge is an asset. So currently, I would say that make work on building your knowledge, and that will act like your asset. And slowly, maybe once you start earning some money, you can put it in tangible assets like stocks and bonds and make even more money. So currently, I will say that invest more on your skill sets and knowledge.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other question? You can type your questions also.
So yeah, I mean, you can ask any other questions as well regarding engineering as well. I am a mechanical engineer, aerospace engineer. I'm working as a researcher. If you want to ask career-related questions as well, I'm open to answer, because I think most of us will be preparing for placement very soon. So even that questions are very much welcome.
Sir, sir,
Hello, who is
I
this?
have to ask one question. What is the future of automobile engineer?
Okay. Yes, Abhishek, this is a very wonderful question. Future of automobile engineer, I would say, is that automobile, like a car, the mechanical components of the car are well in place. There is nothing much to change. You cannot change anything in the engine. But the future where the automobile is going is towards autonomous car or self-driving car. And I think if you want to go in that sector, you have to learn about sensors. How are the different sensors working? How is the cameras working around the car? How are the different systems are working? So there is this system of autonomous um, parking. There is a system of checking if someone is behind you. There is a system of this airbag. So you have to learn about such things, because this is what the future is going to be: autonomous car. You have to learn about, I think, Internet of Things, machine learning. How are these different sensors are working? There is a concept known as ADAS, assistant driver, autonomous driver assistant systems. So you can learn about that as well. I think this is where the direction of automobile engineering is going right now.
Thank you.
So
Hello.
if you don't have, yeah, hello, who is this?
Sir, can you explain something about royalty income in industry?
Okay, so royalty is something like a copyright you create. For example, you have created a song, and that song has a really good music. And if a different person want to use your song, that person has to pay you a certain money to use your song. This money is known as a royalty, right? So this could be for anything. For example, Shifa ma'am, she is a holder of couple of patents. I am a holder of couple of patents. So when a different person use a patent, they have to pay us a certain money. That is known as a royalty income. Same can go for a song, a YouTube video, a dance uh, choreography like that. That is what royalty income is.
Sir, how it is used in industries, in machines and machine parts and like that?
It's I mean, it's not directly used in machine. It is something which a person uses. For example, if I want to sell chicken, fried chicken in our area, I might use the name KFC, which is Kentucky Fried Chicken, because that is a very famous brand. So I'm using that brand name to make my own business. So I have to pay that person a certain amount. So that is how I make use of the royalty, right? In machines, maybe in machine learning, you can use, for example, there are a couple of people who click a lot of photographs and they sell this photograph to the machine learning engineers who train their model to identify a certain object. So they pay certain royalty to the photographers. So in that way, the royalty can be earned.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Is there any other doubts? I will
There's a
share.
question in message box, I think.
Okay. Okay. So
Parishna wants to ask you about graphic designing.
yeah. So Parishnav, when I was in college, I learned Photoshop, and I thought that it was very interesting. So I created a couple of posters, and people started liking that. But then I learned a portfolio of softwares like Adobe Illustrators, and um, there are a couple of more designing softwares which I learned. And then I thought that I'm learning all these things, but it has no value to me. So I approached a couple of people there were a few startups who wanted to design logo for their company. Like you see logo of Coca-Cola, there are logos for each and every company. So they wanted to design that. And they told me that if you could design this logo for us, we'll pay you 5,000 rupees. So that's what I did. I designed the logo for them and they paid me 5,000 rupees. So after that, I started finding out such people who need a graphic designer like me. And slowly, I started creating a proper income stream and started finding more and more people who are interested in a graphic designer like me. So that's how I used my skills to earn money. If you want, I can tell you where to learn Photoshop and all that. Uh, but yeah, that's how I earn money using graphic design.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Who is this?
Sir, Avina.
Reena. Yeah, Reena, tell me.
Sir, I wanted to ask, are we eligible to get admission in designing colleges after doing BE?
Yes. There is I think a degree known as M Design. Uh, But it has a very different competitive exam which you have to clear. But yes, I have a couple of friends who were engineers, who were mechanical engineers, but they went to a design school and now they are graphic designers. So you can do that. It's not impossible. I think they all appreciate engineers because many a times, like my friend who was a mechanical engineer, now he's working as a graphic designer in I think Audi, and he's designing the outer layout of the car, the outer design of the car, which is very beautiful. And he knows how to design it because he was a mechanical engineer. So after mechanical engineer, there is one competitive exam. I can't remember. Once you clear that, you can go to an design school. It's not a problem.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
So question in message box.
Um, yeah. So
Yes.
in my college, I'm from BITS Pilani. There was an elective known as so we are supposed to do electives in finance and economics. So I did an elective in finance, and from there I got to know about the concept of assets and liability and balance sheets. Um, I can also recommend you a few courses on finance so that you can get a basic understanding of these concepts. But that's how I got to know. After passing out from college, I got to interact with a lot of people who were from finance background, and slowly after interacting with them, also I got a lot of knowledge on how to manage my own finances. So that's how an engineer got to know about finance. But I think I myself has introduced you to the concept. So from now on, I would say that you should start Googling it, each and every point, and start thinking on how to build your own assets towards your income stream. So I think 1 hour is complete. um, I will share my contact with Shifa ma'am. If you guys has any other doubts, you can contact me directly, and I'm very much open to clear your doubts. Shifa ma'am, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I request Pratyay to give vote of thanks.
Hello everyone, I'm Pratyadhun and today I'll be giving the vote of thanks for this amazing session we just had. So first of all, I would like to thank the National Digital Library of India for providing us this platform to conduct a variety of events like this. Respected speaker Syed Mudassir Ali sir, NDLI coordinator Shifa ma'am and Deepika ma'am, and all my fellow friends who are present here. It was a wonderful session, and we surely gained a lot of knowledge about the assets, liabilities, law of compounding, the 5 core reasons why even the financially literate don't become financially independent, and a lot more. Thank you once again, sir, for this amazing session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining. Session is over now.